Welcome, everybody, to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and StreamYard.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher. We are awaiting the presence of the Phenom Michael Bullock, and we're also awaiting the presence of the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, the Twisted Angel, Didi Woodson. Not sure where Bullock is. He's probably out somewhere. But as far as Didi Woodson goes, Didi Woodson is currently going through a computer update, a Windows update on her end. Hopefully, she'll be with us soon enough. If either one or both of them should come in, we'll catch them up on what they missed respectively. If not, then we'll hope to have them Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Mayhem. But for right now, let's get into Monday Night Raw tonight. And I'm going to throw it back old school here and channel in one of my all-time favorite classic game shows here. The password tonight was fight. That's what the word was. That's what the magic word was tonight, folks. I mean, a lot of the things that we saw on this show tonight resembled big-time fights. The energy, the fire, and the intensity that the superstars of Monday Night Raw, the men and women of my show, brought here tonight. All I can say was, where has that been? That's all I can say. I think they finally were sick and tired of NXT and SmackDown doing better than them all the time, and they definitely brought a newfound fire, aggressiveness, and intensity in everything that we saw here tonight. Now, granted, it was not the best show. Of course not. It never is. But the effort that I saw tonight out of almost every superstar on this show here tonight was absolutely off the hook. And I was proud of that effort here tonight. Let's bring that every week. That's all I can say, football season or not. So with that being said, let's dive right on in. Of course, Monday Night Raw, as always, from the WWE Thunderdome at the Amway Arena in Orlando, Florida, on the USA Network. And we started it off. Now, yes, there was a talking segment, but it was not in the ring. It was backstage. Randy Orton talking about what he did last week and the whole 9 yards, and then he challenged. He made the formal challenge. We expected this. He made the formal challenge to Drew McIntyre for one more match for the WWE Championship, but this time inside Hell in a Cell. All right, so I'm just gonna keep this short and sweet. I mean, a well-delivered promo by Randy Orton, or I should say another well-delivered promo by Randy Orton, with the expected result of him challenging Drew McIntyre to a Hell in a Cell match for the WWE Championship in 20 nights, less than 3 weeks, at the Hell in a Cell event. And oh, by the way, that son of a gun's official, because later in the night, Drew McIntyre had a backstage interview with my favorite backstage interview, the lovely and beautiful Charlie Caruso, and Drew made it official. So now I know a lot of people are poo-pooing on the segment. I don't know why, but this year, whether you like Randy Orton or you don't, now I'll grant this. I'm not a diehard Randy Orton fan like MF is, but I cannot help but respect him. I mean, this year, I can honestly say Randy Orton has been doing the absolute best work of his career. And this tonight, with that little promo that he did in that backstage area, where he laid out all those legends and Hall of Famers last week at the end of the show, this year, the work Randy Orton has put in, promo-wise and match-wise, in 2020, has been his absolute personal best. And I'm sure I just made MF I think I just put a Cheshire cat grin on MF's face. It's not often I show Randy Orton some big time love, but just amazing. And I'll say it like this: heel Randy Orton, sinister heel Randy Orton, legend killer, what have you. That's the best Randy Orton. There were times he worked as a babyface, yes, and most of those times he was good, but he's just so much better as a heel. That's it. So that's all I can say on this. I'm just going to give it to the Randy Orton mark himself. Good old MF Michael Fletcher. Oh, by the way, MF and Didi at the same time here tonight, both of them infiltrated the WWE Thunderdome. And yes, they might have had some glitches along the way, but for the most part, both of them had a successful night here. So I'm very surprised and happy to hear it. Me, I don't bother with it because, I don't have the head for it, because of all the refreshing and all this good stuff. I'm like, nope, I don't have the head or the time for it. Sorry. But to each their own. So that's all there is to say. So MF, come on in. Your boy Randy Orton this year, the work he's put in has been his absolute personal best. And this backstage moment was just another example. And oh, by the way, we wanted it. We got it. Orton, McIntyre, Hell in a Cell for the title. Let's go.
Yeah, no, this was a good segment. This was very strong, to say the very least. And yeah, a lot of people said it the whole way through, and I believe it's going to be very successful at the end of the day. I thought they did a really good job with it. I think they did a great body of work. And, you also got to show the intensity and the fire and the passion that they did at the end, with Drew McIntyre going after Orton, trying to get some payback after what happened last week, especially after what Randy Orton did to the legends themselves, But I love how Orton eloquently said, look, they got what they deserved. They got what they deserved after they attacked me at the pay-per-view. So you could tell that in Orton's logic, what he did prior, all those attacks to all those men prior to that event, he felt like he did nothing wrong. That it was legit justice that was rightfully deserved. I think we all can disagree with that, whatever. And then Orton got what he got, what was coming to him at the ambulance match at the pay-per-view. Well, Orton didn't sit by and stew over the moment. Literally 24 hours later, he went in, night vision and everything, and systematically dissected each and every one of them. And he said it in chilling, devastating fashion, how he did each and every one of the legends. How he did Big Show, how he hurt Christian, how he took out Shawn Michaels, and what he did to Ric Flair. Well, didn't really do it, but systematically, you could tell what he did. He basically, in no particular order, he used, I think he threw Big Show or hurt him with one of the things. I know with the chair, I believe he used that on Shawn Michaels. On Christian, he basically, I think he punted him or bashed him in. And then with Ric Flair, he didn't really say it, but I'll say it for him. He RKO'd Ric Flair. He didn't want to say it because having the Betsy on that one, but he did RKO Ric Flair. But like we said, McIntyre rolled in. He was really angry, and like a bull in a china shop, he went nuts and went right after Orton. Orton had to duck and run and turn tail and bounce out the Legends Lounge. So yeah, this was amazing, man. This was nuts. But what a way to start Monday Night Raw. This was a really good segment. Nothing more to say. Didi Woodson, my partner in crime in the Thunderdome tonight. It's all yours, my dear.
Yeah, I guess you could say in a way I made it in the Thunderdome, but I didn't make it in the Thunderdome because I got to see it, but my camera, I guess, glitched out, so I didn't appear in the audience of the Thunderdome, even though got to watch the whole Thunderdome. So it was weird. Because at the beginning, just like just now, I had some connection issues. Turns out that it ended up being a Windows update, and it just kind of screwed the camera for the night. It's working now, so because I checked it right before I came in.
Yeah, I actually had to do a Windows update earlier this afternoon
Yeah,
myself. So I think this was a big Windows 10 dump that they had to do. So
yeah.
far so good. It's holding on my end and it's holding on yours. So thank God.
Oh yeah. Well, I probably would have done it earlier, but Jennifer had my laptop and was playing Minecraft with her sister, so um, I wasn't able to do any updates or checks earlier. So that's okay. No big deal. We're here now. This was a great opening segment. Great way to get him to explain everything that happened last week, and then there at the end, when Drew comes in slithering out the door, just like a snake in the grass, which is basically what Randy is. He's the viper. He's a snake. He slithers out of the room. Um, Not surprised, Drew came in with all the heat, wanting to take out Orton. That didn't surprise me. This is we may have another match coming up, but I'm almost certain this probably may not even be the last one, even in the cage. We'll see though. But this has been a very good feud between the two of them, and the segment was a great way to start it all off. So nothing else for me. It's yours, Florio.
All right, and what's this show without throwaway matches? And well, we start off with one here. 6-woman tag team matchup. We had the Raw Women's Champion Asuka teaming up with the newly and randomly thrown together tag team of Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, and they squared off against Zelina Vega, Natalya, and Lana. Yeah, that's automatic clickbait anytime you hear Natalya and Lana. Babyface team, Asuka, Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke. They win the match 4 minutes and 50 seconds. I'll give a brief analysis on this because I'm sure these two don't want to get into this, but it was, for the most part, I would say probably about 2 stars for the effort. I mean, can you guess from who took the pinfall and the Samoan drop through the table which of these performers is in the WWE doghouse? Yes, Lana got buried again. The match was rushed, further established the rivalry between Asuka and Vega, despite the champion's consecutive and definitive victories over her, and built Mandy Rose some much-needed momentum after WWE Creative killed it following her defining moment at SummerSlam when she sent Sonya Deville packing. Oh, and in case you didn't know, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax are dominant, badass bullies, and they proved it again by beating up 2 women who just wrestled a match and were clearly exhausted. Now, I get the fact that Miro, went a little far when he cut that debut promo on AEW. But do you really have to take it out on Lana? Seriously? I'm not her biggest fan, but seriously? 3 weeks in a row? You got to bury her? Come on. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So,
Look,
yes,
look, I get it, and I am totally on your side on this one, Florio. What they're doing to Lana is a major disservice, but this is the same thing that happened with Renee Young with John Moxley. For some odd reason, whenever you get couples or anything like that, or especially when somebody leaves WWE for some unnamed reasons and they throw the name of WWE under the bus, I hate to say it, Florio, but you have to expect it. You had to expect that this was coming.
Of course.
As much as we may not like it, and trust me, we don't, but this was not a big surprise. I kind of had a
Not at
feeling
all.
this was coming, and especially after what Miro said at AEW, I kind of was like, "Uh-oh.
Yeah, but
What is WWE gonna do?" And on top of it, what does Lana think about all this? And if you notice, when initially she was posting about it, but then after Miro's made his comments, she immediately deleted everything on Twitter. So you knew she was like, "Oh God, you might have got me in trouble with WWE." Too little, too late, sweetheart.
yeah,
They found out, and
yeah, sure
yeah,
did. But but a bright development, a silver lining that came out of this. I don't know if it's just me or could Raw actually be be slowly but surely building up Mandy Rose here. I mean, I'm very pleased with that. I mean, 2 weeks in a row, Mandy scored the winning fall for her team. So who knows? This could be something down the pipeline. Maybe Mandy's being groomed here.
well, the thing is that, and I'll just say this: Vince is very high on Mandy Rose,
Yeah,
and already she's starting to get comparisons to Trish Stratus.
absolutely.
Like that's already starting to come out. Like it's almost abundantly clear she's starting to get the Trish Stratus feel, and it's the look, the style, what
Mm-hmm.
she brings to the table,
Mm-hmm.
and she is very young, and she definitely has some kind of it factor right now that could put her on that pathway to becoming a big name. Just like we've been hearing about how they're very high on Peyton Royce, I'm hearing the same thing that they're very high on Mandy Rose. So yeah, Anthony, it is very possible that you know sending her to Monday Night Raw was probably a move that they wanted it to do, even though I'm still spitting kittens over it.
Of course.
But at in the grand scheme of things, it actually helps out because now that she's got aligned with um Dana Brooke, if you notice, Brooke and her are starting to work together pretty well. Maybe the next contenders for the women's tag titles. You never
Certainly.
know.
Certainly. I could definitely see Mandy and Dana possibly getting a shot down the line at the women's tag team titles, which we will address because the women we had a women's tag team title match. It's the one we should have had at Clash of Champions, but unfortunately, like everything else this year, COVID, put the kibosh on it. But it is what it is. So, but anyways, that's all there is to say on that. So we're just gonna move on here. Then we had more silliness with the 24/7 nonsense. Who cares? Um, but then this is really where the show really started to kick into high here. We had an in-ring. This was a tag team match. We had Seth Rollins and Murphy squaring off against Dominic Mysterio and Humberto Carrillo. There was a verbal exchange before the match with Rollins and Murphy. They had a bat. They went back and forth and everything else, and then Rollins and then Mysterio and Carrillo interrupted, and then we had the match, and that's all there is to be saying on that. So, unfortunately, I don't have a time of the fall here because the winners of the match, it was Seth Rollins and Murphy. But MF, I mean, Rollins and Murphy, that powder cake finally exploded this evening, and we followed it up with a solid tag match on top.
Yeah, I know. Great match. At least 3 stars for the tag team battle, and it was really good. I really loved how they were talking about the story and everything else. Everything was coming out really good. But like you said, Rollins really, really stirred the pot tonight. Uh, he was talking about the thing with Aaliyah, and he, oh my goodness, that almost like what Rollins was about to implicate or what he is saying, dude, like that he was about to cross the line and you knew it too. Oh, Didi Woodson just confirmed 4 minutes and 22 seconds. So, yeah. Look, short match, quick, but this is one of those that it was good when we had it. It was fast. Yeah, very fast paced, but I enjoyed it. I really had nothing else to say. So, yeah, Didi, I'll probably say, I was going to say 3, but I don't know, maybe 2.5 to 3. That's my rating for this. This was a, like we would always say, a fun little sprint.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It was a fun little sprint and very storyline driven, and you can see, the dissension not only in the Mysterio family, but also with Seth and the Disciple, and I'm not surprised to see it falling apart. So, like I said, fun little sprint. They did a great job. Um, Mysterio and Humberto work very good together. So I have nothing else to add. It's yours for you.
Yeah, I definitely agree with MF's rating. Even though it was a 4 minute and 22-second match, it was a 3-star match. But you know what one of the major problems of Monday Night Raw is, and that's repetitiveness. And how many times does Dominic Mysterio have to lose to Seth Rollins in some sort of way? Every week there is a different incarnation of that match that seemingly serves no other purpose than to put Rollins over the rookie. We get it. One is a celebrated world champion. The other is in his first 2 months as an active competitor. We do not need to be reminded every week that Mysterio has yet to truly and effectively defend his family's honor against its greatest tormentor. Because from a storytelling perspective, that's ass backward, and WWE Creative would never be accused of such a thing. At least this all seems to be leading to Murphy breaking out on his own. After spending the last 3 or 4 years as the best wrestler no one knew, he is enjoying the spotlight and is poised to go on to bigger and better things, or until Vince loses interest and moves on to another former cruiserweight champion. But yes, a 3-star match. I definitely agree with MF's sentiment here. Now we move on, and like I said, this is what started everything here. Then there was a backstage segment. Adam Pearce interrupted by Braun Strowman. Strowman says, "I want to fight," and because Raw Underground is currently on a hiatus because of, you guessed it, COVID. So, but anyways, he wanted a fight, and Pearce said no because you're technically not a Raw superstar. You're a SmackDown superstar for now. You never know. We could get him back come draft night. We could get him back either Friday night or next week. We could get him back. And quite frankly, I hope we get him back, because you remember how hopping mad I was when I lost Strowman to MF and SmackDown. I mean, that was a big loss for us. But we could get him back. You don't know. But he wanted to fight, and Pearce said, we're going to have an exhibition. It's basically a non-sanctioned match. It's not going to count. And then moments later, somebody stepped up, and that somebody was the limitless Keith Lee. Oh, wait till you hear what we have to say about that. Then we had another segment. This was a rehash from a follow-up from what we saw Friday night on SmackDown. This time it was Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens' show he was hosting. His guest was Bray Wyatt. And we got Firefly Funhouse Bray. And everything else that came out of it. And of course, we all know this upcoming Friday night on SmackDown as part of draft night 1 of the draft, we will see Kevin Owens and The Fiend go one-on-one. So, Didi Woodson, this was a great segment right here. Another fantastic segment here tonight.
Very much so. And now we're going to be watching KO do that slow changing bit. But yeah, definitely Um, definitely a very good segment. He brought up a lot of things that happened on SmackDown, and then you see Bray, pop up with the Firefly Funhouse, and he even addressed the Alexa and Fiend thing himself, and said you don't want to get mixed up in that. Well, it's kind of a bit late. Kevin's already mixed into it, and he didn't even make it back there to find Bray Wyatt before Black kind of took him out on the ramp. So that storyline isn't over yet, but then we may have this other one's just starting with the Fiend. So we'll have to see what comes out of that. But this was definitely a really good segment. They did a really good job with it, and I think the strangest part of it was trying to listen to Bray Wyatt sing. So yeah, not much more I'm going to add. It's yours for you.
He better keep his daytime job. That's all there is to say on that. Come on, MF, you know the bit. He better keep his daytime job. That's all I can say.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Give me a break.
You know the rest.
I know the rest.
Yeah. That's what I was going for. I was going for the legendary Jesse Ventura Rockin' Robin moment from WrestleMania 5. Look it up on Daily Motion. It's there. But anyways, Bray better keep his daytime job. He's a much better wrestler than he is singer. So that's all there is to say on that. Song was catchy, but yeah, that's all. But anyways, this was awesome. I mean, this was a good segment with a strong performance from Wyatt. It also served as a nice tease for this Friday night on SmackDown. It'll be interesting to see if the Wyatt and Aleister Black characters are aligned, or if they both just dislike Kevin Owens. I mean, there have been teases about a new Wyatt family. I mean, you got the Fiend, you got Firefly Funhouse Bray. Apparently he's got Alexa Bliss now under his belt. Could he end up getting Aleister Black as well? But that's something to think about. But anyways, solid segment here, no doubt about it. All right. Now to the exhibition match. Braun Strowman versus Keith Lee. Okay. This wasn't a 5-star classic like we saw last night with Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly. No, not even close. It was an NA. They got counted out in 1 minute and 15 seconds. But oh my word. Wow. This was really where the intensity kicked off into a high. I mean, there are some people who are poo-pooing all over it, but I don't give a damn. This was fun. I mean, this is why I'm hoping Raw gets Braun Strowman back in the draft. A Hoss feud between these two? Oh, hell yeah. Sign me up. I'm all in. That's all there is to say on that. I mean, it made MF do not one, but two or several oh my gods, a la Joey Styles, which he's done so damn well all these years. So, even though it's my show and not his show, but man alive, I mean, the brawling, just amazing. And I mean, the intensity and the fire out of both of these guys. I mean, it was like they wanted to kill each other. And that's why I'm hoping we get Braun back on Raw, because God forbid if he stays on SmackDown and SmackDown gets Keith Lee, oof, that'd be bad for me, but great for MF. But I would love if we could get the monster back. And a feud between these two, some Hoss battles and be a man fights between these two. Oh, let's go. I'm all in. So I don't care what any of these other reviewers are saying, oh, it's two movie monsters going at it, blah, 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 blah. I don't know why they had the need to do this. I know the need. This could be another example of draft foreshadowing. So let's go. I hope it's on Raw. It could end up on SmackDown, but I want to see these two go at it. I really do. No rules. Just let these two men fight and beat the holy you-know-what out of each other. Nothing more to say. MF, I mean, yes, it was a throwaway and whatnot, but oh my God, these two, man, wow.
They literally, if there's any way you want to destroy the Thunderdome, these two men would have been the guys to do it. You should have saved this for the last night of the Thunderdome. If you're gonna destroy it, let these two bulls just go in and destroy the Thunderdome. That would have been the more logical point, because my God, oh man, Dee was eating it up. I was eating it up. The crowd in the dome was going absolutely bonkers. This was crazy. I mean, you talk about seeing this right up at your TV. Holy cow, man. That was unbelievable. What a crazy brawl that was. Yeah, I don't even know how the Thunderdome survived that. I don't even know how the Dome survived it. They went right through the little retaining wall. Then Strowman goes almost right through the LED board on Monday Night Raw, broke some of the pixels off it, and then threw a table off the stage. Dear God, man. I mean, that was insane. And they both some way somehow walked out of it. Strowman walked away from the table spot. Keith Lee walked away from going right through the retaining wall. It's like, these two guys are not human. They're not human. I don't even know what to say, Florio. This was absolutely insane what we saw here tonight. It was crazy. But man alive, what a night. What a story. Yeah, that was awesome. I enjoyed it. I loved it. I ate it up. Every bit of it was incredible. Dee Woodson, you know it. You were there. I think you still had your cam at the moment that this happened, and all we were just thinking was, "Oh my freaking God!"
No, I didn't have the camera for the whole night. I don't know what was going on with that, but yeah, I mean, it was totally awesome. I mean, you know, I've told you guys before, you have a producer in your ears when you're in the Thunderdome, and here they're trying to tell us, put on these shocked faces. You don't even have to tell us to put on a shocked face.
We were shocked.
You see what's going on. Yeah, you're going to be sitting there going, oh my freaking, and it's, I mean, hands over your eyes, or however you want to do your shocked face, and we're just sitting here baffled, because these two guys, you know, people are saying, you know, reinforce the ring. No, reinforce the barrier, reinforce everything else, because these guys just went,
reinforce the Thunderdome.
Yeah, they just went everywhere. And I'm sitting here thinking the same thing the announcer said. If there was an audience there, they would have taken out that first couple of rows. That was just horrendous that they did that. I mean, it was something. It was great. And yeah, I'm hoping that this is, you know, if we get them both on the same show, that this is something they're going to continue, because this would be an awesome feud to watch. You know, because when they did the backstage segment and Keith walked up, I'm like, oh, here we go. We got a B-man fight going on here. And sure enough, I mean, the match, yeah, really short, you know, but the fight itself, you know, very newsworthy, very, very well done. And, you know, you've got the monster, and then you've got, I guess you could call him a cyborg. I don't know. You've got, you know, Mr. Bask and the Glory here, that just these two huge guys that they just took it to that level. And it was such a high level that, you know, that would alone, that little segment there could have been a pay-per-view quality segment. So yeah, I mean, that was great. Not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Florio.
I'm just going to make a quick push right here and now. to the executives of the USA Network, please get Braun Strowman back on Raw. Whereas MF is going to make the plea to the Fox executives, get Keith Lee on SmackDown. That's all there is to say on this. So wherever it ends up, we need to keep this thing going. I know for a fact this is not going to be a one-off. It's not. No, absolutely not. Anywho, then we had tag team action here. Bobby Lashley and the United States Heavyweight Champion, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, part of the Hurt Business with MVP, squaring off against Ricochet and Apollo Crews. The Hurt Business, they win the match in 9 minutes and 45 seconds. So MF, solid effort here from these four.
Yeah, solid efforts. Pretty good match. The one thing that we kind of noticed was going into this was, MVP once again throwing the questions out and saying, well, with everything going on, we're getting closer to the big event. What would be your sentiments? What would be your feeling about joining the Hurt Business? And he offered it to all three men. Offered it to Apollo, offered it to Ricochet, offered it to Mustafa Ali. And if you thought about it, Ricochet really thought long and hard about that decision. And I'm like, uh-oh. Are they going to turn Ricochet heel? I mean, that would be pretty interesting if they did. But at the end of the day, no, it didn't. It didn't happen. Ricochet decided to stay on, not turn, which, obviously good move. But it didn't help them. They did lose to the Hurt Business. But then Ali came back and like, look, I want to fight with you, MVP, and we're going to do this, and I want to do it later in the evening. Lo and behold, did we have any idea what was coming down the pike? That's all I'm going to say. Stay tuned, folks. You're not going to believe what happens next. Little foreshadowing now. But, it was all right for what it was worth. Another fun little sprint. Didi, what's in it's all yours.
Yeah, I can agree. It was great. I mean, these guys, they just did a really good job. And, Ricochet, really, I think he pulled everybody's leg, not just MVPs. Because he had, I think, a lot of the audience going that he was going to jump ship and join with them. And then he says, oh, I pass. So, yeah. Yeah, this was great. I enjoyed it. So I pretty much agree with what Fledge said. So it's yours, Florio.
2.5 to 3, I guess. Perfectly acceptable match with a perfectly acceptable outcome. That's really all there is to say on this. I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. We got some stuff to get into here. Moving on. Now, what had happened here, I guess Murphy and Rollins each gave each other ultimatums for one to apologize to the other. Yeah, the backstory was stupid, but what we got at the end of it, whoa my. A lot happened here. I mean, these two, the powder keg finally exploded here. These two went at it, and then Aaliyah Mysterio came out, checked on Murphy, and then the Mysterio family came up, tried to talk Aaliyah out of it. But at the end of the day, Didi Woodson, at the end of the day, Rollins and Murphy, they finally exploded, and I think we're going to see a match between these two at Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, I think we will. And like I said, we pretty much saw both implode. I mean, the family is kind of rallying around her, but at the same time, she's kind of pushing everybody away because she cares about whatever happens to Murphy, and Murphy and Seth definitely imploded. I mean, that was just, one heck of a beatdown that they gave each other, especially, Murphy finally getting to unleash all that pent up emotion that he's had from all these weeks of taking the abuse from Seth Rollins. He finally got to let it all out and, just beat the living, what out of the guy. So, yeah, very well done. Yeah, the backstory for it is not the greatest in the world, but still, it was storyline progression there, and it's still very well done to tell the story on how they're going to break at least Murphy and Seth, and possibly Murphy. I'm having I have a feeling he's going to have a very successful run now that he's had that taste of being at the top with Seth. No matter if they put him on SmackDown or if they keep him on Raw, we'll see what happens. So, not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah, this was to this point, this was the best thing on the show by far at this moment of the show. We needed to see Murphy stand up for himself and fight back. He has been used and abused for so long that he absolutely needed to strike out against Rollins, and he did, big time. The use of the kendo stick was almost poetic, and the ass-kicking he unleashed was good stuff. It would have been even better had he not succumbed to Rollins' manipulation, but it was still a great bit of business that will help Murphy in the long run. The stuff with Aaliyah Mysterio still feels weird, but her involvement is helping elevate Murphy's star, so it is beneficial for all involved. So that's all I can really say on that. That was the segment of the night up to that moment. But MF, I mean, after what we saw tonight, I think we're gonna get Rollins and Murphy at Hell in a Cell, and if that's the case, put these two in a feud in a match. Who knows what these two can do? These two could tear the house down easy.
Yeah, easily. And it was a really good job that they really did on this show tonight. They emphasized it, they made it look really good. And I think at the end of the day, I really was very impressed with what Murphy did. I thought Murphy came off looking like $1,000,000 here tonight, which is very, very a very good sign, at least in my mind. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it had to be done. What Murphy did had to be done, and I think they did an incredible job laying the groundwork here. So no, for me, this was fine, no problem there. Like I said, great job, and I really got nothing else to say. So I got nothing else to add. You said it, Florio. This was really good, and yeah, I sign me up for a rivalry like that.
Yeah, those two. I mean, you put those two on the Hell in a Cell event, potential show stealer. That's all I can say. That's 4.5 easy, if they give them the proper amount of time, which they better. So, nothing more to say. We're gonna get into a match that I can honestly say really surprised the hell out of me. I was not expecting anything much going into this, but this ended up over delivering. Now, we were originally supposed to have this match at the Clash of Champions pay-per-view, but because of, you guessed it, COVID, this match ended up getting kiboshed, and, well, we finally got it here. Women's tag team titles on the line. The champions, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, defending against the Riot Squad of Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan. Winners of the match in 10 minutes and 20 seconds, and still the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. But I will say it like this. This was the sleeper fight of the night right here. Absolutely. I got to give this about a solid 3 for the effort. Now, this was not always the prettiest match, but it accomplished what it set out to: establish Jax and Baszler's teamwork. Wacky partners who hate each other, they are developing legitimate in-ring chemistry, and on this night, proved that their teamwork was on par with that of a team that has partnered together for 3 years now. While it would have been nice to see Riot and Morgan's reunion culminate in a tag title win, I would have loved that myself. It is clear WWE Creative is far more invested in and enamored with telling Baszler and Jax's story at this point. Time will tell if it is to the betterment or detriment of the women's tag division. But nonetheless, though, this was the sleeper fight of the night. Pleasantly surprised. I thought this was gonna suck. I thought Nia and Shayna were gonna beat the snot out of him in like 3 or 4 minutes, but no, MF. I mean, this thing ended up getting almost 10.5 minutes. Solid 3 stars. Sleeper fight of the night. Absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Sleeper fight of the night. It was 3 stars. There was a moment there where it got a little, it got a little uncomfortable to watch at certain points in the match, especially the beatdown that Ruby was getting, especially from Shayna Baszler. Oh my God. I don't know how her arm did not break. Like, there was 2 or 3 moments in that match that I honestly was cringing.
You're not
like
the only
cringing. It looked so bad. There was one replay. I literally turned my head in the Thunderdome.
When he stepped on the arm.
Yeah. So
On the arm. Let me just say it like this, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just got to get this off my chest. I mean, with Shayna Baszler, I mean, she's Pete Dunne before Pete Dunne was cool.
Yeah. The arm manipulation, the way that the arm was twisting, the human anatomy is not supposed to twist like that, especially an arm that was basically twisted in a wrong direction, where you see the elbow is literally pointing upward. It's not supposed to be like that. It's not supposed to look like that. I mean, I don't know how there was no strain or literally no break in that arm. And that arm is surgically repaired, by the way. Like, that was the arm that sidelined Ruby for about a year. So, yeah, it was insane. Insane. But great match, great storytelling, great psychology. I think the outcome was never in doubt, even though I think it would have been amazing to see new tag team champions. But no, I think they did a great job with this. So nothing more to add. Dee Woodson, it's a 3-star for me. Great match.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It was a very good match. They did a very, very well done job, telling this story and, finally getting it out. But, at the same time, yeah, there was some cringeworthy moments, and that Cohita clutch that she did there at the end looked more like a choke than it did the clutch, because Ruby's face was starting to go white. I mean, she was losing some air. It looked pretty dangerous. But yeah, the way they're playing this right now, it makes you wonder, are they going to be able to get the titles off these two eventually and onto a different team, or if it's going to take these two trying to one up each other to a point to where they're just going to lose the titles. I mean, they're a tough force to deal with, and I have a feeling they're going to probably throw Natty and Lana in the next title picture, even though right now it's kind of, let's beat up Lana, all because of her husband being on AEW. So yeah, not much more I'm going to add. Definitely about 3-star match. So it's yours, Florio.
Yeah, and at one point it looked like when Ruby was in the Kirifuda clutch of Shayna Baszler. Did you see her eyes? I mean, it looked like her eyes were about to pop out of her head. For goodness sakes! Oh, cringeworthy to say the least. And Shayna Baszler is Pete Dunne in a woman's body. That's all there is to say on that. Her and Pete Dunne, I mean, every time I watch those two wrestle, I mean, it's cringeworthy because of the joint manipulation and all that stuff. So, anyways, here comes another newsworthy moment here. We were going to have a match with Mustafa Ali and MVP. You know, we had a match. Then Retribution shows up, and we're thinking, now here we go again, blah, 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 and all this other good stuff. Bomb gets dropped. Mustafa Ali is the ringleader of Retribution. I don't know what to say. Goodell MF Michael Fletcher, you obviously know what to say. I know you're not going to hold back on this. Ali, of all people? What?
Yeah, I know. We all were jaws hit the floor in the Thunderdome. We all were stunned. Again, the producer in the ear trying to say, you know, what do you think? What's your reaction? How are you feeling? How are we feeling? I'll tell you how the bleep we're feeling. We're shocked. We're stunned. This was out of right field. Nobody saw this coming. Mustafa Ali is the leader of Retribution? Are you kidding me? I mean, we've heard names of CM Punk. We heard Roman Reigns. We heard a whole bunch of other stuff. It makes sense for it to be Ali. Because remember, Ali initially was going to be the hacker, the SmackDown hacker. So they basically took the hacker part, threw it to Monday Night Raw, and gave him a stable to work with. This is a game changer. And on top of that, now what do you do? How do you feel as the WWE Universe, especially on Monday Night Raw? How do you feel right now knowing that Retribution is going after the Hurt Business and it's Mustafa Ali of all people who's the ringleader of this group? I mean, you want to talk about stunned. I mean, we were floored. I have no idea what to think right now. I'm still kind of like, I'm still like on a high right now that I need to calm down, but my God. I mean, how do you calm down from that? I mean, it was, you know, you heard rumors about it, but, you know, you take that with a pinch of salt. You believe it when you see it. But out of all the guys, Ali's name was maybe, it wasn't nowhere near the top 5. Not even the top 10 guys that you would have thought would have been the ringleader of Retribution. Ali's name was there, but honestly, did anybody honestly think it was going to be him? I did not. Dee Dee didn't, because she was shocked as all hell. She basically called a holy bleep on the messenger chat. I was like, what the hell? The infamous what the hell that I normally have done in the past when I've seen a blind side or a shocker. Anthony, I don't know what your reaction was on commentary during the show tonight, but oh my God. That's a game changer. And good for Ali. I mean, that elevates his star big time. And that's a big ball you just gave him. Retribution has been not the greatest, and I'll admit that, and I think we'll all admit that. You just gave them actually some life. You actually make them legitimate here tonight. The payoff was worth it. What they just did was worth everything they've done up to this point. All the attacks, all the stuff they've done up to this point, and now we were like, ugh, it's garbage. It's not great. It's not relevant. It's relevant now. It's a game changer, ladies and gentlemen. And Ali is the perfect guy who we thought was honest, a great guy, a cool individual, the whole 9 yards, I would love to hear the reaction from the rest of the world, including a certain someone who I know is a big Mustafa Ali fan. I would love to get her thought about it tonight, because this was, oh my God. Nothing more to say. Dede Woodson, we jaw on the floor, try to get our mouths surgically back in, because holy freaking crap. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I said the not so clean version of holy ships. It it was very, very very surprising, because that retribution thing comes up, and of course, earlier in the night he got onto him for trying to use that as a excuse for Ollie pinning last week, and now it pops up again during the match when it was about to become 3-on-1, and he looks like at first he's going to team up with the Hurt Business to take out Retribution, slides out of the ring, gets into their face, and then boom, turns around and directs them in what to do. And we're all just in total shock again. I mean, that's the running thing of the night tonight, is just the shock value that Raw has had, and all the storylines that have just flipped, I guess you could say. I mean, I don't know what else you can say. I mean, they just all turned topsy turvy, and nobody even knew or could see what most of these have turned out to be. So they definitely brought a big surprise element tonight, and they definitely brought I guess you could say they brought the A game to the show to really bring, pique the interest. And now, we know who is the leader now. So now we need to get into the next step of finding out why. Why is Ollie feeling like he needs to take all these guys that he thought, or that think they've all been mistreated and stuff, and create this giant stable to pretty much destroy everything? So we'll just kind of have to wait and see how that comes out. But yeah, I mean, this was definitely the theme of the night, just the shock value, and just everybody not knowing what's going to happen next, and them just drawing you in, wanting more and more and more. So it's yours, Florio.
Man, earlier this year, we were absolutely convinced that Ali was the SmackDown hacker, and that it would lead to a bigger push for one of the most talented wrestlers in the entire company. That did not come to fruition, nor did any sizable push upon his move to Raw. After so many stop and start pushes, this was exactly what Ali deserved. Ali, as the voice of a movement aimed at tearing down the foundation of WWE and fighting for the voiceless, is a role that suits him well, particularly if you have ever spent a minute or two scrolling through his Twitter account. All along, Mustafa Ali has been behind Retribution, Byron Saxton stated repeatedly after the break. Such a line, undoubtedly fed to him by Vince McMahon or Bruce Pritchard, absolutely suggests that is the intention with this angle. Now, with an increased role and a greater opportunity to let his voice be heard, it will be up to Ali to capture the moment and not let it go. Nothing more to say. Main event of the evening, 6-man tag team action. It was the WWE champion Drew McIntyre teaming up with the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits, squaring off against Randy Orton, Robert Roode, and Dolph Ziggler. Winners of the match in 10 minutes and 20 seconds, the heel team, Randy Orton, Robert Roode, and Dolph Ziggler. Randy Orton wins the match with the 3 most destructive letters in the business, RKO, on the champion Drew McIntyre. Didi had to step away, so I'm gonna have to just take this one for a spin here to start things. I would probably say maybe the fight of the night here. I mean, because Creative has protected McIntyre throughout his title run, so it actually did feel like it meant something when Orton scored the winning fall for his team in this match. Anytime a collection of talent like this is in the ring, they're going to tear the house down and deliver, at the very least, an entertaining main event. Unfortunately, it was marred by the commentary team's obnoxious exclamations regarding Orton's victory over McIntyre, as if that somehow gave him the edge over the champion in time for Hell in a Cell, which it did. The same champion who already pinned him clean in the center of the ring at SummerSlam and beat him again at Clash of Champions. There was nothing about this that did anything to make the audience want to see the match, nor did it inspire any excitement for the Street Profits versus Ziggler and Rude, a match you can almost rest assured we're getting. But why WWE Creative decided this should end the show rather than the awesome revelation that Ali was the leader of Retribution all along is one of modern wrestling's great mysteries, at least for this week. But I will give OMF stepped away. Oh, I do apologize. So it's been a long day and night for me. So Didi, I stepped all over it. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna give it back to you.
Oh, you can finish. I'll wait.
No, I think I've said what I said. About three and a quarter stars, I guess, for the main event. That's really all I can say on that. So I thought it was Didi who stepped away, not MF. I just saw it now. So forgive me. It's been a very long night with a lot of things going on tonight with Raw and 2 football games and baseball.
Yeah, I believe it.
I mean, but it was worth it though. It was worth it though, especially for me on the baseball end. So go on, Didi.
Yeah, because we had a KC game going on the TV and then the Thunderdome going on the computer. Yeah, I know. It's been crazy with all the football games and stuff that was going on. So, yeah, I agree with the rating. It was definitely the fight of the night and very well done to mix these guys up and everything. It was fun. You know, Dawkins at one point looked like he was a little outmatched, but, you know, seeing, you know, all these guys working off of each other and everything, you know, it was very impactful in the end. And then, of course, you know, having Randy pick up the win in the end. So, yeah, I mean, they all looked really good tonight. So, not much more I'm going to add. You pretty much touched on all of it. So, Fletch is yours.
Yeah, it was a 3.5 star match. It was a good main event. Nothing more to add. Anthony, is yours.
All right, and we're gonna get into our overall review, and to make up for my botcheroo, I'm gonna let Didi start it off. So, Didi, your final thoughts on this very newsworthy Monday Night Raw this evening?
It was very newsworthy, very shock value. I mean, even though some of the matches were lackluster, most of the segments, you know, made up for it. And then you had some matches that, you know, were really, really great that also was in this whole big picture. So, you know, just going off of matches, you'd have to give it a low rating because you did have so many cutouts. But if you add in all these other factors of the, you know, the storylines and the shock value, that brings your rating up. And like I said, that was the theme for the night. You know, let's see how we can shock the crowd and throw in, you know, this over here and that over there. And, you know, it was crazy. And, for me, I'm going to give it probably 7.5 because of the fact that you did have all the shock value. You had that storyline going the whole time. You had the newsworthiness. Even in the stuff that wasn't very good, it still had a lot of newsworthy. Like Mustafa's thing. Yeah, the match was really short. Yeah, it didn't really amount to anything. It didn't even finish, and then they give you that shock value. It's those little things like that. Um, the biggest gripe I would have with WWE right now is the repetitiveness and somebody needing to get with Shayna Baszler on the way she's doing her finisher, because that looked almost like if she would have not let go, she would have passed out. Her eyes would have popped out. Her face was white. She just, I think she's almost as dangerous as Nia Jax when it comes to certain things. But she is one of these type of people that, yeah, what she does in the ring can be very cringeworthy. Her stomping on hands and manipulating body parts in strange, bizarre ways. So, yeah, not much more I'm going to add. Like I said, I'm going to give it 7.5 stars. So it's yours, Florio. So good night, guys.
All right, good night, Dee Dee. We'll see you next time. We only had 2, maybe 3 good matches on this show tonight. The 6-man main event. Rollins and Murphy against Mysterio and Carrillo, and the women's tag match. I mean, I think we can make an argument that maybe the women's tag match should probably get the honor of fight of the night. But the segments, I mean, the Orton and McIntyre that opened it, the latest with the Mysterio family with Murphy and Rollins, that was really well done tonight. The Ali moment, that was the highlight of the night. Absolutely. Strowman and Lee going all over the place, beating the holy you-know-what out of each other. I mean, it was just incredible. For that alone, I could agree with Dee Dee's sentiments here, and I could go maybe 7.5 on this as well, even though, the matches weren't overly great, because we did have some cutouts and we did have some 24/7 silliness and all that good stuff. But that's all there is to say on this. I just hope that come draft night, hopefully we'll get some moves. That'll be shots in the arm for us. So that's really all I can say on this. So 7 to 7.5, basically for all the shock value alone. The segments, for the most part, were better than the matches, even though we had 3 good matches. But that women's tag title match, I mean, that over-delivered and then some. I was pleasantly surprised by that effort. Well done, ladies. So really all I can say on that. So not much more to say, MF. I mean, when we think about when people ask you what was the one moment that you remember from Monday Night Raw on October 5th of 2020, I think the answer will be just one little word: Ali.
Yeah, like you said, 7 out of 10 for me. This was, oh my god, what a night, what a good show this was. I don't think there's really anything else to add. So, Anthony, it's all yours, man. Let's go right into the next part of the night.
Yes, the Tony's take, and Impact Wrestling. They had a busy week. We didn't just have Impact Wrestling. We also had a special event on Saturday night. I didn't see it because I wasn't really interested in it. I'm more interested in the pay-per-view. But anyways, Impact Wrestling, we had Taya Valkyrie against Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary against Jessica Havoc and Nevaeh. Taya Valkyrie, Rosemary win the match 6 minutes, 45 seconds. Solid but unspectacular match between the two teams to start off. Taya and Rosemary had to get the win to advance their storyline, but Havoc and Nevaeh looked good in defeat. So that's all that there is. So 2.25 stars for that effort. Tennille Dashwood against Jordynne Grace. And Jordynne Grace wins the match 8 minutes, 39 seconds, 2.75 stars. Better than the previous week's match because, well, it still told a solid story. No rough looking spots. They can obviously deliver, and they did that pretty decently here. nice work by both, and Grace gets the needed win after a couple of losses. Rascals against the Good Brothers. Good Brothers win the match 7 minutes and 11 seconds. Another 2 3/4 star match. Rascals look good look competitive against a dominant team, which will only do them good. And the Good Brothers look strong in victory here with a good sequence to end the bout. Everything was really crisp, as you might expect. Good stuff all around. Johnny Swinger against Falaba. Falaba wins the match 2 minutes 35 seconds. This was a dud. No comment. So I'm just going to leave it at that. That was a throwaway fight. Eddie Edwards segment, which was really well done. Sami Callihan getting involved. Ken Shamrock turning heel. Now, there was rumors about Edwards and Shamrock having a match at Bound for Glory. Originally, the rumor was they were going to fight for the title. I'm glad it's not for the title. This match does not need the title. What the match for the title at Bound for Glory? Far better. That's all I can say, and I'm really looking forward to it. A lot of backstage stuff, and then the North against Ace Austin and Madman Fulton. North win the match 10 minutes 13 seconds. This was the fight of the night, 3-star match. I could watch these guys go forever, man. I mean, the North worked really well against Austin and Fulton. This was a heel match where both of the teams played heel and it worked. Crisp execution. Ace and Fulton not really hurt by the loss. Winner all around. 8 out of 10. Nothing fancy, just good old-fashioned wrestling, built, done by strong work in the ring and some backstage supplemental segments. That's all you can ask for. All the matches were good, solid to great, with the exception of Bond Swinger. So they set up a lot for the victory road while continuing to build Bound for Glory. I'm not keen on the idea of Eddie Edwards versus Sami Callihan via Ken Shamrock, but outside of that, there wasn't a single thing I actively disliked. And that's impressive for 2 hours of the variety show that is professional wrestling. So just leave it at that. I'm gonna quickly get into 205 Live, and then I'll go with the results from the event there, the Victory Road that went down on Saturday night, and just bear with me for a moment. And all right. And I'll tell you what, 205 Live just continues to get better every week. And just give me a moment here. All right. Looking for this. Okay, here we go. Isaiah Swerve Scott against El Hijo del Fantasma. Well, I think actually they went to a video package, and yeah, they did. It was the video package. All it was basically a hype show for Santos Escobar and Isaiah Swerve Scott. I mean, that's really all there is to say on that. And yeah, this was basically a recap show. So that's really all it was. So I don't really need to get into that. So but what we're gonna do here, Impact Wrestling had a show this past Saturday night. It was called Victory Road, and it went down this past Saturday night as a special on their Impact Plus. And I'm not going to do a review because I didn't see the show, but what we're going to do is we're going to I'm just going to do some quick results, and then we'll have Bullock give a quick thought on Raw tonight. So we had it was the Rascals versus Triple XL. Rascals won the match in 9 minutes and 27 seconds. Then we had Brian Myers against Tommy Dreamer. Brian Myers won the match in 10 minutes and 55 seconds. Willie Mack answered the X Division challenge of Rohit Raju, the Defeat Rohit challenge for the X Division championship. Willie Mack won the match, but not the title. He won the match via countout in 11 minutes and 11 seconds. Tenille Dashwood against Jordan Grace. Tenille Dashwood won the match, 12 minutes, 17 seconds. Unsanctioned match, Reno Scum against Heath Slater and Rhino. Heath Slater and Rhino won the match 10 minutes and 36 seconds. Moose versus Trey Miguel. Trey Miguel with the shocker of the night. He beat Moose 8 minutes and 19 seconds. Free-for-all match. Ace Austin versus Carl Anderson versus Alex Shelley versus Josh Alexander. And Josh Alexander won the match in 14 minutes and 37 seconds. Deonna Purrazzo defended the Knockouts Championship against Susie. Deonna Purrazzo retained the title in an even 13 minutes. And the main event of the evening, Eric Young versus Eddie Edwards for the World Heavyweight Championship. Eric Young retained the title 23 minutes and 43 seconds. So that's really all there is to say on that. So MF has left for the evening. Michael Bullock, come on in. We're running very much over time here. So I'd like to get a quick thought from you regarding tonight's edition of Monday Night Raw. I mean, when we think about this show tonight, the one thing we're all going to remember, one little word, Ali.
Oh yeah, I heard the big story. I mean, yeah, Ali now the leader of Retribution. I mean, did you see this coming, Florio?
Nobody did. None of us did.
Yeah, I certainly did not. I mean, I was expecting somebody else to be to be the leader of Retribution, but Ali.
No.
But I'll tell you this, Florio. Maybe a heel turn for Ali. Maybe will do him good, because he wasn't really getting over that much as a babyface, as far as I'm concerned.
No, not at all.
But another thing that really stood out to me, no surprise, Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton will go at it inside Hell in a Cell. So, yes, we officially now have 2 Hell in a Cell matches set up. All we gotta do is wait for that third one, which we all expect to be Sasha Banks and Bayley, no doubt about it. So, and then of course, the fallout continues from with Rollins, Murphy, after it seems like they're no longer together.
Oh.
They imploded tonight, and I guess we could say Murphy finally had enough of the Monday Night Messiah, and quite frankly, who can't blame him? So, those are just some of the things that really stood out to me tonight.
Real quick, what did you think about Braun Strowman and Keith Lee tearing the house down? Literally.
They literally tore the house down. Now, I mean, it's just a shame that it was only a short match, but if they had given so much more time, I mean, yeah, who knows what we would have gotten. But yeah, I mean, now all we can say is, Florio, it's on to the draft Friday night.
Indeed. And one other thing that also stood out to me tonight, I don't know about you, that women's tag team title match really over-delivered. That ended up being our sleeper fight of the night tonight.
Yeah, I mean, going into this, I was thinking this was going to be another meh match, but this really over-delivered. I mean, the Riot Squad really put up a good fight, but no surprise that Shayna and Nia came out still the champs. So, yeah, that's pretty much all for me.
Yeah, that's pretty much all the standout moments on a very exciting edition of Monday Night Raw.
Well, one other thing that I'm happy about, Lana getting put through a table again. Couldn't have happened to a nicer person.
We're just gonna park it there. So that's all there is to say there. So that will put the bow on this edition of this very long and exciting edition of Ridiculously Raw. Everyone, thank you all so very much for tuning in this evening. We'll be back with you Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Mayhem over on MF's channel, Racefan 95, as we will run down AEW Dynamite and NXT, both expected to be big shows as always. Thursday, College Football Thursday, huge show. Some great matchups to look forward to, such as Miami and Clemson, the Red River rivalry, Texas and Oklahoma, Tennessee and Georgia, just to name a few. So many exciting matchups. We'll break it all down Thursday night. Friday, Cerebral Smack Talk. We'll run down Friday Night SmackDown, recap night 1 of the draft. And then from there, Saturday, NFL Saturday. So another week of some very exciting matchups to look forward to on this upcoming week. We'll also recap the Thursday night game, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Chicago Bears as well on Saturday. And then next week, we do it all again for Ridiculously Raw when we recap night 2 of the WWE draft. So Very exciting stuff coming up. So that's it. So until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Mayhem, unless something else comes up, it's Anthony Florio here for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, good old MF Michael Fletcher, the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, the Twisted Angel Dee Dee Woodson, and always and forever the Hardcore Pipe Bomb, FKG 401, Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up 14-4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days, and until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Mayhem, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on Zone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. And remember, my friends, especially after what we saw tonight, beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.